Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 RTG career mode here with Stoke City. Back today with episode 24 and we got loads to crack on with, so we're going to dive straight into our first game of the episode. And after back-to-back victories at the end of the previous video against Crystal Palace and Leeds, we're looking to make it 3 from 3 here as we travel to West London to take on Fulham at the Cottage. Come on the Potters. Well, 20 minutes to play here. Been a pretty poor game. I've just made some changes looking to sort of force the issue as there's the Iceman. Oscarson, just the man you'd want it to fall to. He's been in fine form to kick off the season. Jimenez into Smith Rowe. Danger here. Emil Smith Rowe. Emil Smith Rowe equalises. Well, this is like the Stoke City of last year who couldn't hold on to a lead. So many times last year we threw points away. Can we go back down the other end and find a goal to put us in front? Diamonde to let fly. Oh my goodness, that's not far away. Well, is there time for one last attack? Kata to Bassi and now Moran. Danjuma out wide, but Moran instead finds the Iceman. And the Iceman into Sainz. Still time. Still time. Oscarson into Lewis Skelly! First goal for the club. Miles Lewis Skelly will ensure that it is 3 wins from 3 for Stoke. Well, what a great run of form for Stoke City. But I said in the previous episode, when you're down at the bottom, sometimes it feels like your luck is just out. Fulham got themselves back into the game through Emil Smith Rowe, but couldn't hold on to the point as Stoke City nick it late. 3 wins in a row as we start to climb up the table. And these are exactly the sort of games that we need to win if we want to qualify for European football next season. Get in. What a way to start off the episode with a last-minute walk-off winner from Lewis Skelly. And a great chance to make it 4 wins in a row in our next game against a Brentford side who have lost 6 of their opening 8, currently sat just outside the relegation zone. But for Stoke City, climbing up the table into the top half and looking to continue this good run of form. Come on the Potters. Million's just gone down with a knock there. Looked like a pretty nasty landing for him. He's not getting back to his feet anytime soon as well. That could be a pretty nasty one as Borja Sainz skips away from Simicom into Oscarson and back to Borja Sainz, surely for the opener. And it's his first goal in Stoke City colours. Oh, what a pass. What a pass. And Burmo sits down 1. What a save, Bilal. Bassi into Danjuma. Gonna need him with Million looking like he could be down for a period of time. Luckily, we've got a lot of cover, and that's a nice ball into Oscarson. And there is the injured Million for 2, and it clips the post and finds the back of the net. Might be carrying a knock. We don't know how bad the injury is going to be. But Oscarson this time turning provider, and Stoke looking set to make it 4 in a row. Oh, well, more bad news here as the new man, Danilo, right on the stroke of half-time, also going down. And he's in some pain, you know. Danilo's going to come off and... Do you know what? I think I'm going to take Million off as well. We'll take both of them off as we approach the break. Well, it's all over here at the Britannia. Pretty quiet second half, to be honest, but damage done in the first. But speaking of damage done, 2 big injuries to key players. One of them, the new signing Danilo, and Million, one of the OGs, also going down early on in that first half. A big win, but at what cost? So as we get back to the menu, nice to see Oscarson get a man of the match, showing that he's not just a goal scorer but a creator as well. How bad are those 2 injuries? Well, Million, I thought it might be a broken toe for Million with the animation. He's going to be out for 3 months. Just as the skipper's coming back from a broken toe, Million goes down with one, and for Danilo, broken metatarsal, which will keep him out for 2 months as well. So both of them out for prolonged periods of time. That is the absolute last thing we wanted. But thankfully in the summer, we did do enough with our recruitment to build out a nice big squad. And as I say, Bae is just coming back from his injury as well. So we do have players to step in, but of course we don't want to see our key players going down. But it does make things more realistic. Anyway, a chance to make it 5 wins from 5 in our next game. Heading into this one, taking on Wolves, who have got just 1 point on the board and currently sit rock bottom with the worst goal difference in the division. Stoke City doing really well and now just a point outside those European spots, which is where we want to be come the end of the season. As I say, a great chance to make it 5 on the spin. Come on the Potters. Wang looks to get away from Bassi, but instead runs straight into him. Now Flamingo has to be careful. It's given away and Wolves coming forward. Bassi in the way, still not fully cleared, and that's a wonderful goal by Hwang. And we've been so good in this recent run of form, but a big mistake by the new man Flamingo at the back, and he's punished as Hwang opens the scoring. Sainz out wide to Danjuma, but look at this back 5 from Wolves just sitting in. We've given them something to hold. And they're holding on to it all right, just sitting in their shape, and who can blame them? And it's down to us to break down that shape as Sainz looks for Sarmiento, who gets there. He's looked lively today, and he drills in his first goal for the club. Well, about half an hour to play, and returning from that broken toe, we are seeing the return of the skipper. It's a shame you can't give him the armband like you'd see in real life, but Bae is back and he's going to get about half an hour here. Can he be the difference maker and turn 1 point into 3? Westgas for Wolves down the right. Nice ball inside. Got to be careful here. Got to be very careful. And never mind 3 points. We'll be lucky to escape Molineux with 1. Wolves currently bottom of the Premier League, but set to record their first win of the season thanks to a double from Hwang Hee-chan. Boz does well. Now there's space ahead of Sainz, and he's got Bae with him. And these are the two that I said I was really excited to use. And Sainz finds Bae. Oh, and it'll come for Sarmiento for 2 apiece. And Jeremy Sarmiento may have rescued a point. He's been brilliant today at the double. And with 7 to play, it looks as if we will have to settle for a point. Great work by Bae. Slips it through. And off balance, slides it past Jose Sarr to rescue a point on the road. Well, the winning streak is ended at 4, but we do remain unbeaten. It's been a nice little run of form for Stoke with now 5 games without defeat. And our fixture list continues to be quite friendly to us. We've got Bournemouth up next, returning back home to the Britannia. But I know that means that we are going to have a tough run of fixtures, and it comes around sort of end of November, beginning of December. So we've got to make sure we get the wins on the board here whilst we're in good form and before those tricky fixtures come. I'm hoping to get back to winning ways here as we return back home. Come on, the Potters. Yeah, I know that tough run of fixtures is coming, so we've got to make sure we win these games when we've got... Oh no, that's a poor giveaway. When we've got the easier so-called fixtures. What a ball through, and Bilal on the closeout is there. When we've got these fixtures, especially at home, that we think are winnable, we've got to make sure we get them on the board and keep the wins flowing. As that slipped through to Max Aarons of all players. Max Aarons against his former club. What a way to score your first goal. And from one end, Bilal bailing us out on the closeout, his trademark move. And then from nowhere, Max Aarons storming through on goal, finishes past the keeper to score his first goal in red and white. And now Hartman running off the back of Sarmiento. Almeida slides it through. Semenyo onside. And it's a brilliant finish by a player that I'm such a big fan of in real life. He's been linked with a big move in the summer, and I'm not surprised. He's another of those players that came from the Championship and has proved that he is a top quality player. Great goal by Semenyo. Cherries back level. Get up, Jordan. Yeah, well done, my son. Now Danjuma through the gap for Oscarson. And nice hold up by the Iceman. Been quiet today. There's Sarmiento from the edge. And what a great run of form for this man, Jeremy Sarmiento. Bae off off the bench. Finds Sarmiento. And back to Bae. And Adam ahead of him. Lovely build up. And can he finish? Yes, he can. Seals off the victory with, I believe, just his second goal of the season. Oh, ball slipped through. Alex Scott is 3-2. Well, how about that? Cracking game at the Britannia. And we've been a little bit more leaky in our defence this season, but the result is not going to change. Cracking game, as I say. Really enjoyed that one. From minute one, it was played at 100 miles an hour. Really frenetic pace to it. And the new signings really starting to prove their worth, with Max Aarons also scoring his first for the club. Really enjoyed that one. But just keeping the games rolling as we're back on the road once again. 2 fixtures again up next that I fancy us to win both. Travelling to Portman Road here to take on the Tractor Boys Ipswich, and then returning back home to take on Brighton and Hove Albion. I want to be targeting wins in both of these games that will make it a long unbeaten run for Stoke City as we head into that tricky period over Christmas. So first of those games coming here against Ipswich. Come on the Potters. There's now 5 wins in our last 6 in the Premier League, and unbeaten in 6 as well. Look at the space for the skipper. First start for him since the injury, and he's back with a goal as well. Well, into the second half here, still we lead by just 1. It's not been a particularly good game, as look at Diamonde go. Diamonde gets there. Great strength and the finish as well. Really poor defending by Ipswich, and they'll be disappointed with both goals that they've conceded today. It's not been a particularly good game, but we do look as if we are going to make it back-to-back victories in the Premier League and continue this long unbeaten stretch. Well, just keeping the games rolling, jumping into our next one. As mentioned previously, Brighton Hove Albion back at home at the Britannia. They've had a pretty poor start to the campaign, just 3 wins in their opening 12. Currently sat in 15th place, but for Stoke City, currently in 6th. What a fantastic start to the campaign. We've conceded a few more than I would have liked after how solid we were defensively last year, but we're starting to put the ball in the back of the net on a bit more of a consistent basis. This is the final of those games that I said are really winnable before we go on a really tough run of form. We've got Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Man United all coming up in the next month or so. But we're going into that run of fixtures on the best possible form that we could hope for. So I'm hoping to pick up another win here to extend the unbeaten run to what I think would be 8 games in the Premier League. Come on the Potters. Oh, swung in. Oh, we've not got up. What a save, Bilal. What a save on Minte, who knocked us out of the cup last year at the Amex. That is an incredible save by Bilal. His shot stopping is absolutely incredible, man. 18 years of age. It's been a poor game in the rain here. And that pass just about sums it up, you know. But given back to Oscarson. Mistake by Jordan Teze, and Oscarson, boy how he needs a goal. Sainz will let fly, not the greatest of saves, or again from Derrida. Sainz back into the middle for Bae, and a big mistake by the Brighton #1. Youth player Derrida with an absolute howler. Should really have caught the first one, should definitely have caught the second one. Caught neither of them, and Bae with the Di Canio scissor kick makes it 2 in his last 2 as he returns from his injury with a bang. Oh, what a ball through that is. Perfectly weighted. Jorginho Rutter runs onto it. And Bilal makes the save and then comes and shouldn't have. And Jorginho Rutter heads home. It's been a pretty terrible game here at the Britannia in the rain. And I didn't want Bilal to come for the second ball. He sort of thought about it, then went back on his line, but it was too late as Rutter heads over him to equalise for Brighton. And now Borja Sainz. Wouldn't be the first time this episode that we'd won it late if we can do so. Danjuma denied by Derrida. And that is going to do it here at the Britannia. Frustrating result that. We were in control. It was a really poor game. We just had to see it out in the final few moments. A rare mistake from Bilal, coming for a ball that he didn't really need to, as both his centre-backs were in proximity. Beaten to it by Jorginho Rutter, who heads home the equaliser. And we will have to share the points. Well, it may not be exactly the result that we were after, but that draw does mean that we remain unbeaten in our final 8. And heading into this really tricky run of fixtures, we couldn't really have asked for a better run of form leading up to it. So, kicking off here with Arsenal away at the Emirates to close out November. This coming in midweek, we're hit with fatigue as well, and it is so congested in the top half of the table. Big clash against last year's Champions League winners away from home. Come on, the Potters. 25 played here, so we've lasted longer than we did in the EFL Cup when we came here at the start of the season. But I'd say it's our toughest test in the league since we travelled to Chelsea in, I think it was either early or mid-September. Since then, we've been a little bit luckier with our fixtures, as Oskarsson hasn't scored for a while. It was back in the game against Fulham when he last netted. Not sure about the celebration, but he is the man for the big occasion. Loves scoring in the big games against the big teams. Saka driving forward. Finds Çalhanoğlu back to Saka, and Havertz is ahead of him. Kai Havertz on the move. Kai Havertz, brilliant strike. And Arsenal back on level terms just before the break. Well, I saw that pass and that move developing, but stopping it was another story. Bukayo Saka rolling the ball through to Kai Havertz. Lovely Arsenal move, and as I say, I saw it coming. Stopping it was a completely different story, and now what are we made of? Arsenal back on level terms, pushing to get into the top 4. Can we keep them at bay? Martinelli, it's good defending, and that'll come for Oskarsson. Nice hold up. And there's Bassi storming forward. And look at the space for Juranovic. And Moran's in the middle. Moran! Oh, it's off the woodwork. Oh, Bassi's just overrun that. Havertz is in. Kai Havertz off the woodwork down the other end now as well. Saka forward to Guirassy. Interesting signing from Mikel Arteta, where he's been wanting a striker for a few years. Maybe Guirassy is that man. Sarr through the gap to Çalhanoğlu. There is Guirassy. And a big save by Bilal. Let off a few moments ago off the woodwork. And now Bilal called into action. Arsenal pushing for that goal as Lewis Skelly gets up and Bilal has to... Oh, no! Oh, that is so unfortunate. And it is the substitute Guirassy with the goal, but in bizarre circumstances. Hakan into Guirassy. And Guirassy still, and that's a spot kick. And, well, it's not going to make a difference to the result as Bukayo Saka sends Bilal the wrong way. But what a way to lose it. The second goal is what really changed the game. And, yes, it will look more comfortable for Arsenal with Saka's late penalty. But what a way to lose it. And it wasn't even a Guirassy goal. He ran off celebrating like it was he who put it over the line. But reminds me of the goal that Aaron Lennon and Gareth Bale ended up scoring for Spurs, smashing the ball into the face of one another, and it ended up in the back of the net. A similar goal here today, and our winning streak comes to an end after, our unbeaten streak comes to an end after a great run of 8 matches. Well, a difficult result to take due to the nature of it, but one that we expected. Arsenal have just one defeat in their opening 14 games, and we're not at that level just yet, and these clubs have a lot more firepower than us, and we've got to remember that we're just a newly promoted side in our second season back in the top flight. It doesn't get much easier for us either in our next game. Heading back home, but taking taking on Liverpool. Arne Slot's side coming to take us on. Probably the worst side we could face after suffering our first defeat in a prolonged period, because they've beaten us every single time we have faced them in the save. So far, 3 games against Slot's side, and we've tasted defeat in all 3, with a couple of batterings in there as well. But we only narrowly lost against them at the Britannia last year, so I'm hoping that we might be able to claim a point to get us back on track. Come on, the Potters. There could be space down our left-hand side with Frimpong moving forward, and Sainz exploiting that. Brilliant from Sainz. Thinks it into the middle for Oskarsson, and it's great defending. And now we have a real concern, because the one area we didn't really bring in a replacement was up top. And Oskarsson hitting the deck. I think it might just be a bruise with the animation and the way that he got back up. But if that's serious, we could be in big, big trouble. Aaron's down the right. We've been really, really good today, you know. Been solid defensively. And we've had a little bit of threat going forward without creating too much. But here goes skipper Bae. Bae from the angle. What a strike. And the skip, who's been so important since coming back from that injury, with his 3rd goal of the campaign. And he puts us in front against Slot's side. Well, guys, we're into the 90th minute here, and I think that is going to do it. What a victory for Stoke City. Where's that whistle, ref? There it is. Big, big victory for Stoke. Not only our first victory over Liverpool, but if we want to be qualifying for European football, we need to beat the teams around us. Liverpool 5th as we headed into this game, with ourselves sat in 6th. So that is a big, big victory that will see us leapfrog Arne Slot's side on what has been a fantastic start to the season. We're approaching the halfway stage, and the longer we can stay in the hunt for European football, the more likely we are to end up there at the end of the season. What a scalp against Slot's side. Well, as we get back to the menus, how bad was the injury for the Iceman? I'm saying it was just a bruise. I'm hoping it is, and I was correct. You can normally tell from the animation, and it will just be a bruise, so he should hopefully be back for our next game. Another big one as we take on one of the sides around us, Unai Emery's Aston Villa, currently sat just 4 points behind us in 8th place. So yeah, as I say, this tricky run of form, Arsenal, Liverpool, and then Aston Villa. But a big win against Liverpool in the previous game. Now back on the road as we travel to Villa Park. As I say, extremely tricky place to go. But I'm hoping we can continue our fantastic run of form and pick up another 3 points here. Come on, the Potters. Pavard. Del Castillo again. Barkley looked to roll it through. Adley opens the scoring for Villa. Oh, that's too easy. Amin Adley races away, and Bilal's there to make the stop. Still not cleared. Del Castillo back into the middle. Flamingo does well, and we will get it cleared. But it has been all Villa in this opening 45 minutes. We saw against Arsenal how Mikel Arteta's half-time team talk completely changed the game. And Arsenal were miles better in that second half. Well, I need to prove how good I am as a manager here and get the best out of my team, because we have been way off it in this first 45. Well, I'll tell you what, we've got to do a better job of protecting the ball when we do have it, because Villa have done such a good job of keeping hold of it. They've barely had any possession. That's good play by Oskarsson. And Aaron's nearly fouled. Oh, it's found its way in. And we've seen 2 comical own goals today. That one's a little bit unfortunate, as was the one at the Emirates, but we'll take it all day long. Football's a funny old game. We have been by far second best today, as Adley gets his shot turned away by Bilal. I think he saw it all the way, but yeah, we've been by far second best today. But, oh no, don't concede a goal like that. Oh my goodness, that's so close from Barkley. Ooh, well, that's a very tactical foul from Max Aarons, as Alvaro Fernandez was racing through, but it's going to be a costly one at that. A red card for Max Aarons. It's pretty dangerous right on the ankle. You can see why it's given. It's not a particularly high one, But as Ross Barkley comes off for Yuri Tielemans, we'll have to play the last 10 minutes or so with 10 men. Well, there is the whistle, and we will hold on for the point. And I said I'd take a point before the game, and I will certainly take the point after the game. Down to 10 men for the final 8 minutes or so. But it was Max Aarons who was the man who was sent off, who forced our equalising goal after a brilliant storming run down the right-hand side. A big slice of fortune. But we will take that all day long as we continue our good run of form in the Premier League. Just that one defeat that came at the Emirates, I think in our last 10 or potentially 11 games in the Premier League. Well, guys, it's been a great episode where we've made loads of progress and we've been on a really good run of form as well. But I think we'll close out with this one as we take on Leicester City. Another of those teams down in the bottom half of mid-table and a great chance to get back to winning ways. A win here will see us move up to 6th place to close out the episode as we have a game in hand over Liverpool. It's getting really tight and congested in the top half of the Premier League and there's lots of teams jostling for positions as we get close to the halfway stage. We've got Manchester City and Manchester United, a Manchester double header coming up to close out December, which will come at the beginning of the next episode. So I really need to make sure we get a victory here to take into those 2 games. Come on, the Potters. Well, yeah, definitely targeting all 3 points here to close out the episode to move us into 6th after what's been a tricky run of fixtures. There's Oscarson onto the right foot, denied by a good save by number 1 for Leicester. But definitely need to be targeting all 3 points here against the newly promoted side as Bae. They can't touch him. There's Bassi. Not really the man we want to strike one from the edge of the box. Diamonde round the corner for Bae. And there's Oscarson. And it's a side netting. Well, into the second period here. And we've been the better side in that first half. But Leicester have caused us some issues as well. As Bae slips through Oscarson. Lovely build-up. And Borja Sainz surely is never going to miss that. He's not had a huge amount of goal returns since his move, but he's popped up with a few, and he's got some assists as well. It's been a pretty decent first few months at the club after making the move from Norwich. Ramsey for the Foxes, brilliant run. He's been the danger man today. Slides it through for Barry. It's off the woodwork as Kata calmly heads back to Bilal. Ramsey, who's looked most likely for the Foxes, looks to take on Juranovic. And he might have just beaten him, and he has. And Flamingo heads back to Bilal. That is calm and confident defending from the new man. And we will see out the narrow 1-0 victory. Not particularly convincing, but a win nonetheless. And a nice way to close out an episode where we've been on a really, really good run of form. The deadline day signing, Borja Sainz, wins it for the Potters with, I think, his second goal since his move in the summer. And as I say, a nice way to close out the episode as we will jump back up to 6th. But guys, that will do it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. In the next one, we'll head through to December and the January transfer window as we're really cracking on with this this save once again. Really enjoying the pace of things as we look to qualify for European football for next season. But guys, I'll catch you in the next one very soon. Take care and